Hello, hello. Once again to another edition of Quoth the Raven, Lewis Bright Raven. I'm your host, Lewis Bright Raven, 30-year professional writer, illustrator, and editor of comics, science fiction, fantasy, horror, and role-playing games. And today is another question and answer short. And today's question comes from Jeremy H. in Massachusetts, where Jeremy asks, to CG or not CG? That is the question. Do you think it's necessary as a new or up-and-coming talent to get in with the Comicsgate crowd in order to be successful? Would you ever be a Comicsgate guy if you did a crowdfund? Okay. There's obviously different opinions and different avenues of thought on Comicsgate. My perspective is this. The most important thing to do is be true to yourself. Being Comicsgate, a lot of people think being Comicsgate is basically being part of the tribe that is the superstar faces of Comicsgate. Mm-hmm. Ethan Van Sciver, John Malin, your boy Zach, Chuck Dixon, Graham Nolan, whomever. And the truth of the matter is, you're not part of that collective unless they absorb you into that collective and acknowledge you and reciprocate support for your product. And if you can get that from them, hey, thumbs up, all the power to you. Mm-hmm. But the majority of creators who are lesser known or have never been published before aren't getting that kind of support. So you can call yourself Comicsgate, but are you really? Mm-hmm. That's one thing I've always looked at when I say Comicsgate. You can believe in the same ideologies and the same beliefs about what is holding the mainstream back or not, but that doesn't necessarily make you Comicsgate. So whether you're part of that collective and they take you in and count you among them, or you become a different tribe within the Comicsgate larger collective, of which there are several groups, or you decide to not be part of Comicsgate, don't declare yourself part of Comicsgate, you can still build your own tribe of fellow creators and build your own brand and build your own audience base, which is what you should be doing regardless. Ted Davies has Ted's Tribe, and his group with Brian K. Morris and others. Forgive me for not remembering the exact name of their group, but they get like 8 or 10 channels of people that promote each other and promote a lot of other people. You got Vera Sam, who I've had on the show, or Sam Vera, with the Alien in My Toilet type comic. He promotes a lot of other creators. There are other channels that are not creators who are very proactive in marketing independent creators. If you want to get your book in front of eyes, it doesn't necessarily have to be on Ethan's channel. It helps if you can get it there, but if you can't, there's other places to go. And so it's a matter of marketing and building your own brand first and foremost. Now, CG can be both positive and have a negative effect. And you have to decide on your own whether that risk is worth it. But you have to be, again, true to yourself is the biggest thing I can tell you to do with that. Pop Culture says, hey, Raven, how goes it? It goes well, I guess. It's been, it's been a while since I've seen you around. I hope things are well with you. It's going to be a rough weather day, I suppose. We're supposed to get some rain here in an hour or two, but that may be flooding or something in the area. So hopefully it won't be too bad, but we'll see. The other thing that you're going to just have to decide if you're going to go CG or not CG is to understand that how you're going to present yourself. John Norris is here and says hello. Hey, John. Certain tribes in the industry in CG are very anti-SJW. They're anti-Big Two in the direction they're going. And I'm not saying that there isn't some validity in criticizing some of the direction of the comics industry in different ways. Obviously, I've been critical of different things as myself. But there's also, I guess you could say there's ways to go about it that are positive and ways to go about it that are negative. And some people do it very negatively. Then, so you got to be very careful if you're going to be promoting your own book and stuff like that, to try and not build your brand based on tearing other people down. And a lot of CG people do that, whether they mean to or not. They do it. So, be aware of that as well, whether you try to mention yourself with that group or not, because that's one of the negative aspects of what Comicsgate is perceived to be doing. So, Mark Andrew Smith waves and says hello. Hey, Mark. And so that's basically what I have to say is, one, be true to yourself. Two, build your brand, whether you're going to be CG or not CG. And if you're going to be CG, be more like Aaron Lopresti. Aaron does a good show on his channel. He doesn't tear down anybody. He promotes who he believes in, what products he likes. Doesn't tear anybody down, as far as what's being done or not being done at Marvel or DC on any normal basis. He has other ways of entertaining you and making you interested in following him. So I would go that route rather than the Ethan Van Sciver route and tear down Marvel and DC or other companies. That's just my take. And, your mileage may vary. As for whether or not I would be a CG guy, no, I wouldn't necessarily. Partly because I just don't think I fit in with that same mentality exactly, even though I am critical of the industry. I think a lot of people who are more established with Marvel and DC who have become CG and have represented that bitterness, resentment of the direction of Marvel and DC, I kind of look at them and say, you had a career with them. You're biting the hand that fed you for a while, and fed you well, shall we say. And it kind of comes across to me as a little bit hypocritical at times. Whereas people who have not worked for Marvel or DC, but have had an extensive career in comics, like myself, like Mark, if Mark was to be a CG guy, he's not, but if he were to be, other people that have been around for a long time that would choose that route, that have never had that opportunity at Marvel or DC because of politics or because of whatever reasons. Usually it's not politics. It's usually personal pettiness between management and creative, to be honest. That's a little bit of a different animal. So, to me, it's, like I said, your mileage may vary. But for me, I would probably just build my own tribe, or, I'm part of Ted's tribe. He invited me part of Ted Davies' tribe, so thank you for that, Ted. And there's other people who support me. So, I have some, but obviously if I was to do a crowdfund, I would have to do a lot of marketing, more than I normally do. And so that's that. Okay. Hope that answered your question, Jeremy. I hope I did a good job on answering that question. If you have a question for me, questions are email at quotheravenlbr72@gmail.com, subject QTR Q&A. And later tonight at 8 p.m., weather permitting, it'll be back here at this channel, Bright Raven versus Figaro Norris. And we're going to talk about The Choice Is Yours, Round Robin DC 2022. They've got a round of 16 titles that you're supposed to pick your vote of who you think, what book you want to read. And we're going to fill out our brackets and let you know what we think of these titles based strictly upon the solicitations without any artwork or writing info, no creator listings, just the blurb, basically, of what the book was supposed to be about. That's what we had to go with. So that's what we're going to do tonight at 8 o'clock. And that's all for today. Until this, or not for today, but until this evening, I should say. If you enjoyed this episode, or you think others might, please hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons to continue to get content from my channel. As always, I thank you for watching and for your support. If you want to reach out to me on social media, I'm on Facebook at Lewis.BrightRaven and Twitter at LewisBrightRave2. You can see my artwork at deviantart.com/BrightRaven. You've been watching Quoth the Raven, Lewis Brightraven, exclusively on YouTube. Again, if you have questions or you have comments you want to make that you don't want to post in a chat or on the page, Quoth the Raven LBR72@gmail.com is the address to reach out to me at. And if I don't get back to you, try LewisBrightRaven@yahoo.com. That's all for now. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.